Welcome back, everyone, to Between Bells here on Cheddar. I'm Baker Machado. NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Davis and former Navy SEAL Eric Frohardt have joined forces with nonprofit veteran organization Team Red, White, and Blue, all to create an online community called DEFY Nation. That's a platform for those overcoming the odds. So here to tell us more all about it is Terrell Davis and Eric Frohardt. Great to have both of you guys here. Thanks so much for joining us. TD, I want to start with you. Before we get to DEFY, I can't ignore the protests that's happening around the world right now. You spoke out saying everyone who has a voice and a platform should speak. I'm curious, what's your message right now during this really difficult time we're seeing in our country's history?
My message is that I think people need to really focus on what's happening. I've heard a lot of people talk about other things other than what the people on the street are protesting for. It's not about the American flag. It's not about being anti law enforcement. It's not about being anti-American. It's about just having rights and having equality for Black Americans. And that's what it's about. And if people stay on point with that message and understand what they can do to try to further that cause, then that's all we're asking for. Just acknowledge that there's racism in America. And then ask yourself the second question, what can I do to be a part of the solution and not the problem? And listen to people who are talking. And just because it doesn't happen to you in your own community, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I think that's what's happening right now is people need to realize what happens to you and what you're going through doesn't necessarily mean that someone else isn't going through something totally different.
Yeah, TD, you mentioned the flag there. I just want to stay with this for one more moment. Drew Brees is receiving a lot of backlash over his comments about kneeling during the national anthem and disrespecting the flag. Did he miss the idea of this kind of protest in his original comments?
Absolutely. And listen, Drew Brees, and people are coming to his defense saying, well, he has the right to say it. Absolutely. But what he's missing is not that no one is defacing the flag. No one is saying they hate America. No one is burning the flag. No one is disrespecting the flag. But what you're missing is the reason why Colin Kaepernick had the kneel during the national anthem was because remember Nate Boyer, who's an ex-Green Beret, sat down with Colin Kaepernick and said, hey, listen, how can we find a better way to not only honor our troops, but still get your point across? So they decided to kneel instead of sit. And Colin Kaepernick has said he loves America. This is not about him. He loves the military just like I do. It's not about our military. It's about a message that we have inequality in this country, and everybody who has a platform and has the ability to do anything about it should. And because people sit back and say, well, it's not happening in my community, then it doesn't affect me, and it does. And Drew Brees, by saying that, did not acknowledge really what the message was. And that is, we constantly see Black lives being lost on the street at the hands of law enforcement. And he didn't even mention that. He just talked about the military and how he refuses. I'm like, if you sit there and say you refuse or have somebody disrespect the flag, how about you refuse to have somebody kill another man who's unarmed? You make a statement so strongly that you refuse to see that happening. Man, that's what gets me super hot and infuriated, because they're not seeing the message. They're not understanding why the people are protesting. Now, the looters and the people who are vandalizing property, I agree with that. I don't agree with people doing that. But protest is not supposed to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to make you uneasy that people are protesting. Otherwise, you sit there and say, well, I'm being inconvenienced by what I see out there. Good, you should be. That's the point.
Yeah, very well said, TD. Eric, I do want to bring you in, and I do want to talk about DEFY Nation. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about what people can expect from this new online community that you and TD have created together?
DEFY Nation. It's just it's an online platform, a community. It's it's got a website, some digital and social channels. There's some specific events, virtual events right now, and workouts and things of that nature. And really, it's just it's a gathering place for people who overcome obstacles, who do what they can to win every day and just defy the odds. People like TD that have overcome and defied so much in his path towards, not just making it into the NFL, but being an MVP and a Hall of Famer, right? And then myself, I was in the Navy for about 12 years. I was a Navy SEAL, and I got injured, medically retired, and I had to defy the odds just to make it through that training. And I believe veterans have to, to some extent, defy the odds every day just to transition from the battlefield. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
And Terrell, with DEFY Nation, how do you kind of determine what initiatives and partnerships that you really want to be a part of? Because this one seems like a perfect match for you, but how do you sort of decide what things you're really interested in being a part of?
And listen, I think our core belief and our mentality is that we're about defying the odds. And that's the foundation of which we have built DEFY Nation. We have the workout series that Eric was talking about, that we're teaming up to have a workout video that allows our veterans to be able to work out so they can defy the odds of obviously coming out off the battlefield and having some physical limitations. But some of them, we want to be able to help them with that. It's also about people who see us and say, hey, you know what? In my life, I haven't achieved what I want to achieve. I need some inspiration. I need encouragement. I need motivation. And we encourage people, come onto our platform, allow us to walk with you, encourage you to defy your own every day. And that's really what the message, my career, and Eric talked about his, my career was the same thing. I was not supposed to be a two-time Super Bowl champion, a Hall of Famer. I was not supposed to be that guy, but I defied the odds. And so we want everybody to come onto our site and our community and join with us and allow us to help walk with you on your journey.
All right, Terrell Davis, the co-founder of DEFY, and Eric Frohardt, co-founder of DEFY Nation. Great to have both of you guys here. Thank you as always.